Hello, it's Alex and welcome to Hey Little Thrifter. Today I'm going to be talking about the books I read in May. I read 3 books and they were all secondhand. First up is Under the Skin by Michel Faber, and I got this for a whopping 59 cents from a thrift store. And I have also seen the film of this that came out a few years ago with Scarlett Johansson, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was incredible and so atmospheric, and the book is also awesome now that I've finally got around to reading it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. There are quite a few differences between the book and the film, but there is the same kind of gist going on throughout both, and I thought they were both brilliant in their own separate ways. So this tells the story of Cicely, who lives in Scotland, and she picks up male hitchhikers. And I won't say too much more about it because I don't want to give too much away, but it is very atmospheric, very creepy in places and somewhat disturbing, and there's also an emotional side to it as well, and you do really feel for Cicely. It's mostly told from Cicely's perspective, yet there are certain sections that are from the perspective of the hitchhikers that she picks up, which I thought was really interesting and really well done, because they definitely all had their own unique voice, which I thought was great. It is a bit slow moving, and I did find it a bit repetitive for a while with the picking up of the hitchhikers before more of the story unfolds, but in a way I feel like that was just giving you a taste of Cicely's life, in that this is what she does every day. It is boring and repetitive, and so now you're feeling a little bit of what it's like. But yeah, this was great. I would highly recommend it, and I would definitely be interested to read some more of Michel Faber's stuff. Next up, I read The Elementals by Michael McDowell. This is a horror novel, and it was originally published in the early 80s. This particular edition is from the UK, and it's just an absolutely brilliant cover. I love it. And I got this one online from a used bookseller, and it just ended up being cheaper to get one shipped over from the UK than it was to actually buy it in the US. And I got the brilliant cover as a bonus. So yeah, that worked out well. So this is a southern gothic horror tale, and it's definitely very atmospheric and creepy, and it tells the story of 2 rather wealthy families who have a holiday home, or homes I should say, because there are 3 of them, 2 of which the 2 families own and 1 of which is vacant, and it's in a remote area by the coast. So after a death in the family, the 2 families go to visit their holiday homes, and one of the visitors is a 13-year-old girl, and this is her first time visiting the holiday homes. The vacant home is being overtaken by sand, which is just slowly accumulated over time, and there are certain strange goings on that the girl experiences, and she tries to get some answers from the family, and they slowly reveal their own strange experiences that they've had in the past. It is definitely creepy, and there's a general sense of unease throughout the whole book, and you're not really sure where it's going to go or what's going to happen next. The characters are all really well written. They're absolutely brilliant, even though not all of them are entirely likeable. There are still brilliant characters. I found it a really compelling read. I just wanted to keep reading more to find out what happened. I absolutely loved this book. I thought it was brilliant and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5, and yeah, I'm really keen to read some more of Michael McDowell's stuff. And last up, I read The Likeness by Tana, and I got this for $1.95 from a thrift store, and this is the second one in the Dublin Murder Squad series, I think it's called, and I'd heard that you didn't have to read them in order, that they are kind of standalone books with different characters, but This book, the second one, actually does have a lot of the same characters in the first one, in the woods. So I am glad that I had read that one previously, because I feel like you could read this as a standalone, but knowing the characters already and having some of their history, I definitely found useful for this story. Anyway, this was another great read for me. I really enjoyed it and I gave it 4.5 stars out of 5 as well. This tells the story of Cassie, who is a detective who used to work on the murder squad, now works in domestic violence. And some years previously she had worked undercover, and her superior had created this character of Lexi, who she became while she worked undercover. And back to the present day, there is a murder and the victim looks exactly like Cassie, and she has photo ID of this undercover identity, Lexi. So they're obviously trying to figure out who the killer was, but also who this person is, how she came to have Lexi's identity. So Lexi was a student at the university and she was living with 4 other students. So after some persuading from her superior, but kind of not very much persuading at all, Cassie decides to go undercover as Lexi and take on Lexi's life in this house with the other 4 students, her friends, and try to figure out what happened and who the killer was. They decide to keep the murder under wraps and instead tell everyone that Lexi recovered from her injury and is now returning back home and to her normal life. So yeah, this was just a really great crime, murder mystery thriller. Really great character development, and the story is definitely very intriguing, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I have a couple more already of Tana French's books which I'm looking forward to reading. So that was everything I read in May. I had a really good month and picked some really good ones that I thoroughly enjoyed and I would highly recommend. Let me know what you're reading at the moment, or if you have any recommendations. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!